Okay, good evening. So this will be a microscopic examination of two slides that were taken from the electrolysis clay chamber before I started the electrolysis, just a couple of maybe 30 minutes ago. So it's like a reference video to see like before and after, to see if what kind of change the electrolysis actually produced. We can see that actually. So I mean, the whole setup is very uncomfortable because this table is full of stuff, and I don't want to move it, not to kind of like hurt the setup, and not to tons of like wires. Some of them are actually, some of it exposed. So I better not touch although it's extremely dirty, the table. So we'll actually do the examination like that here, which is extremely uncomfortable. But I'll do whatever I can. Just maybe it will be a quick review, just so we can get a reference. I can say that in the meantime, yes, certainly you see the bubbles that are, one of the signs of electrolysis, of course, it's separation of the H2O to H2O2. It should be said that, in itself, this process is not necessarily a beneficial or required or beneficial process, I can't repeat everything that I ever said about this electrolysis and the neos. It's a huge topic. It's basic stuff that should be said. Because it's incredibly important. Just so we are clear. The important stuff with the electrolysis with regards to the neos is that it's a way to use DC circle. So with like a medium, a material which is a medium. And of course, you can control the medium, and for all sorts of ways. And mostly, most importantly, increase or reduce conductivity and also the amount of neos. And it gives the neos, actually the robots, the freedom to actually create chains of superconductivity inside the medium. That's why it's so important. By itself, like the separation of the molecules, the water molecules, and by the way, this is like the basic electrolysis. There are many kind of like electrolysis processes that separate the other molecules to all sorts of things. But it's not something that is. It's certainly not in an essential part of the process. Not at all. Maybe it depends on the context. Maybe oxygen is needed. For some kind of process, depends on the symbolic language, and then maybe, this separation is actually beneficial, but in the general sense, no, all this kind of foam that you see, and sometimes in the past we've seen tremendous amount of foam, like you can see in the channel, with even much more elaborate, constructions. This in itself is not, it's just, it's sign these things are going on, that, of course, you could connect, just, like a light bulb to see that there is actually, like a circuit, maybe, but maybe I should do that as well. But this is actually, just something. It tells us that something is going on. It's not in itself beneficial for the process. It might be, or it might be actually hazardous, or it might be. There are tons of options, and mostly it creates problems because it produces heat, and the neos are superconductors, but everything else is not, and heat is a huge problem with electrolysis. And it's discussed a lot in this channel, and there's all sorts of mitigations. And it's like, it's very messy. And it's like, even though the neos know how to work in a messy environment, including crucibles that, burning fire, but it's not like, I would say this is a byproduct. And of course, there are two other famous byproducts of the process, which is galvanization and ionization. Galvanization is like, it might affect the neos if they are kind of like they receive armor, from the process. Most certainly they do, but it doesn't seem to affect them for the benefit or for good or bad. Maybe you can use this process to create like golden neos, which is kind of like like פריט הספנות, הנוירונים המוזבים. And ionization is more important actually, and it is discussed briefly in the channel. It's not a major topic here. Yes, the neos are ionized as expected, and this was proven in several experiments, but it was also proven. They can be ionized, and they do. Part of the reason they are ionized. So there is a question of, is it good, bad, ugly? I don't have a definitive answer. I would say that, I mean, my intuition is to say that it's a byproduct that is not needed and probably not helpful. But it might be helpful, I mean, if you consider, like, if we consider it, I mean, there are lots of things that you can do. Maybe, ionize, two groups, in like, but, in opposing, like, ways. And maybe they will be attracted to each other and maybe it will help them, because they create chains. I mean, so lumping together could be helpful for them. But, I mean, or maybe it's, I don't know. I mean, this was kind of like, something they saw about, I mean, even like as early as February or March, last year. But I mean, it wasn't a topic that I investigated too much. It's one of the many to-dos, to inspect the organization. Of course, preferably with better equipment and processes and see, I mean, how it affects the neurons and what can be learned. But I just say that yes, as expected, the neurons are ionized in the electrolysis chamber, and it got some noticeable but very mild negative effects, not very important. Okay, so let's start with the microscopic examination. Just a second. So I use gloves, laboratory gloves when I prepare the slides. But I mean, I removed it, for the actual work with the microscope because it's actually, I find it difficult to work, like to use the microscope with gloves, and the slides are already prepared, so it's not extremely important. I mean, yes, obviously this place is not a laboratory, see, it's more like a trash can, but and also alien zoo and, alien laboratory, alien factory, whatever. So this is the microscope, Bresser 1. Very simple. I wish I had like much better one. Not necessarily more magnification, but better optics and other microscopy techniques. I can only use the backlight microscopy, which is very important. But I could. There are other methods that could also be very helpful and all sort of and again increase in better optics. But that's what I have, and I try to make do with it. It's pretty dirty. I clean the lenses from time to time, but even if the lenses are dirty, you can actually very easily, you can understand, what's on the lens and what's on the slide. So we use 16 magnification for the lens. The only one that I have right here. I had others, but it's in storage, it's not with me. And we have the stereo objective lenses, the 4, the 10, and the 40, I think. Yes, I mostly use the 4 because I don't require. Mostly I don't require. Like I use 64 magnification, which is the minimum that I can have. If I probably would have used even like smaller magnification, of like 30 or 20. I don't need tremendous amount of magnification, mostly for the experiment for the most of my experiments actually. The exceptions, mostly the rare ones that deal with very small biological microbes or even viruses. But this is very rare. Mostly I don't require actually a lot of magnification. So the microscope is very it's not calibrated. So give me a second, just I need to use the screws here. Okay, better now. Excellent, nice. I use the non-standard covers that are big. I like to use like a lot of material. Like the cover is almost It's not the regular square, but I mean it covers almost all the slide. So probably we should do it standing because just a second. So I need an extra book. Just a second. I hope I hope you find the soundtrack. I mean, if not thoroughly enjoyable, at least plausible. This is the soundtrack of my life. For many years now. I mean, it's all around the clock. Just I hear these things. It's not only here. That's also in Shoam, in Rishon LeZion. Wherever I go, I mean, this is it. So I hope you find it at least not difficult to hear. Nice. The robot can do this, wow, what a surprise. So you can use the microscope, not only the appliance. I mean, wow, what else can he do? Can he do sex? Does he have sex? How does he do it? What kind of genitalia does he have the genitalia? I mean, it's so interesting, What an incredible robot that is self-operated. I mean, what a great surprise. I mean, we were so anxious, to test him, to put him through so many tests. I mean, to see, how he handles, interpersonal relations, and so maybe we can, push him to walk in place, and then create false, all sort of conflicts that are manufactured by us. So we see how we handle these kind of things. It's very interesting, and also sex, and maybe we can make a show of a co-worker that is interested, but she is also married. So we see how maybe this robot can actually even handle morals or values. So how does it act, with conflict of morals? So interesting. This is so great. This is so great, like a new wave of judges in the trial. That is my life. Just if the cynicism escaped someone, I just stated very quickly. Years ago, I already understood that the test will end not after I pass a certain test or fail a certain test. No, the test will end when all the testers are dead. All our substances are dead. And the day is very, very... It's going to happen in any moment or any day. And then the test will be finished. No more of the test for the robot. So again, this is the reference slide. It shouldn't be extremely interesting. It's just, to see what was before in the solution. before the electrolysis. Not much. This is the Nero actually, and what's interesting about it is that it looks like in the Stargate position. I think. So it was 64, now it's 150. So I'm having a problem to focus. This is because of calibration. So just give me a second. I haven't used the microscope in like several weeks, so should be calibrated. Just wait a second. Just a second. It's difficult to focus, require calibration. Just a second. Mostly it's happening in the 150 magnification, not in the 64 as you've seen. Okay, so this is only 150. Yes, so it mostly seems to be calibrated well. So it looks like in a Stargate position, which is very interesting. So let's get back to 64. Nice Nero. No, we haven't seen very big ones, but we've seen healthy ones. It's not a very rich, solution, but this is the design. I could have used the richer, of course, solution. But we see some Neros. Mostly they seem to be like transfer, state. Like doing transfer of matter or energy. This one is interesting. Let's zoom in. Nice. So maybe you do is even more zoom in. This is like 600, I think. Difficult to focus with this one, and certainly when I'm both standing like in awkward position and also with the iPhone, which is not, of course, the best way to view, but that's what I can do right now. You see some flow, which is typical to maximum magnification, especially when I like touch the glass. This lens objective sometimes touches the glass, and so it creates flows. I cannot focus very well. I need to calibrate, but it's really awkward. I'll not do it now. But we do see all sort of neurons in all sizes, which is great. Okay, let's get back to 64. So it's mostly pretty uniform, We see neurons, not huge ones, but not small. This is a very big one. It's not like starchy enterprise, but it's certainly big. They're not always like completely circular. This is a fat one. Sodium bicarbonate helps them become fatter. I don't know actually what's like the difference between a fat and like in a thin one. Like obviously as bigger they are, like by radius, they can handle bigger jobs. But there's also the issue of like thickness. Not like as defined by not the radius itself, but by proportion of the radius and the width of the ring. But it was demonstrated in many experiments that if you add sodium bicarbonate to the mixture, after several weeks they demonstrably and statistically in a very statistically significant way they become much fatter. I actually don't have it now. I should have bought it, but I forgot. So I'll buy some and we'll put it in the mixer to see fatter ones. This is also pretty fat. Also, it's really pretty uniform. Okay, enough with this slide. So maybe we'll do a very quick review of the second one. Should be mostly the same, I guess. Just a second. So this is the electrolysis chamber. I'll keep it like online. Maybe we could actually already take some samples, but it's so uncomfortable. I just need to rest my, the position, maybe take a shower, just move myself a little bit before I do more, microscopic examination. But let's take a quick look at the other one that was taken with the one that we've just seen. Nice, you see the target position, which is very nice. Very nice. So we see fat neurons here. And this is a zombie, by the way. What you see there, here, maybe we'll zoom in. It's a good example of a zombie. Zombie is like a classification of like life forms that I need to speak like in separate because I didn't speak about it enough. But sometimes they are very common. They are mostly dead. Like there isn't much difference between dead and zombie. But I'll discuss the difference in some other time. But you see, it's not alive, of course. And it's not even dead, like I mean, it's zombies. It's zombified. And you see many neurons like in the vicinity of it. Nice, fat ones. So it's mostly more of the same. What is this? Looks like, like gemstones. Disgusting butchered life form. So it's more of the same, and I mean, I need to move a little bit. I mean, just I stand here like try not to, do any damage. So okay, so we have our reference. It's pretty consistent, both within the slides and between the two. And later we will take an additional examination from here, and maybe if I'll have like inclination and energy, we'll create like a neuro creating experiment.